All right, guys, before we start on this episode, once again, I've decided to put timestamps up on the screen for you guys, and for our Spotify listeners, they'll be in the description. Just to let you guys know when we're discussing certain picks, because we do have multiple special guests on this episode. So if you're here for your team specifically, you can skip to that point in the video and watch our reaction to that. But otherwise, enjoy the video. All right, guys, welcome back to the TDT podcast. Today, we are doing a full reaction to all 32 picks in the first round of the NFL draft. Very exciting. There were some big surprises in the draft. We have 4 special guests on this episode. We're dividing the 32 picks into 4 segments, and we'll have one guest on per segment just to talk about their reactions as well. So, we can have a little bit of diversity. Huge episode. So, without further ado, let's go ahead, get straight into it. Our first guest, Emerson Metter. Welcome back on the show. We've had him multiple times, and he will be reacting to picks 1 through 8 to start us off today. So, Emerson is a huge Clemson fan, as we all know by now. And it was pretty obvious. We all knew this was going to happen. Trevor Lawrence got drafted in the first pick of the 2021 draft to Jacksonville Jaguars. Emerson, I do want to get your views on this first before Carter and I go on a rant, if there is a rant to tell.
To me, this is pretty much a no-brainer. Trevor Lawrence is probably the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck. I'm surprised it took as much time for them to choose it as it did.
So, well, I'm gonna have to not completely agree with you on the.
Yeah, same. But I was like, well, I would say Johnny Manziel. I mean,
but he is definitely a very good prospect, and I will say this. I will agree with you, Emerson. This is a complete no-brainer, bro. Like you gotta picture
anything else would have just A, been shocking, and B, just been wrong.
I had my money on Sarah Fuller, so. Oh well.
Nope. We're gonna have to wait till later in the draft to see if that happens or not.
Yeah, Mr. or Mrs. Irrelevant, actually.
The draft is over right now, so.
Oh, it is? It ended? Shoot. Damn. Wow, that was fast. All right. Anyways, yeah. So I'd say pretty good pick. Yeah, overall.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But next up, the Jets. Zach Wilson, BYU. I love Zach Wilson. I think personally.
I like him a lot more than I think people give him credit for. I think people just wanted the Jets to take Justin Fields, especially since the Jets later in the draft, they traded and took an O-lineman for him, and then in the second round, they took Elijah Moore. Like, they're letting us know this is their guy for the next 10 years.
Jets are scary. I think that Zach Wilson, I really like Zach Wilson. I watched some of his highlights, and I think he's actually a beast.
No, I agree. I think that Zach Wilson, because, Emerson, you did say that Justin Fields people wanted to just take him, but I think that Zach Wilson just fits that offense better. And I think that the Jets can give him more.
He feels more New York to me than Justin Fields does.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, and dude, I don't know if you were watching, Carter and I were watching the draft together, and these analysts, bro, every single
Bro, they were so annoying. But he glitched and said the Jets took Mac Jones. Right? It glitched, and we were like, "What? Only the Jets would do that."
The facts this year were so much better than last year. Like last year, it'd be like their best friend died when they were 15 years old.
I enjoyed that, bro. I thought that was hilarious. It doesn't give us way too much information. All right. Moving on, though. Trey Lance, he went to the 49ers, quarterback out of North Dakota State University, I think. I actually like Trey Lance. I love
Trey Lance.
I think he has the highest ceiling out of any first round quarterback. I think he's mad underrated. People are saying he's compared to Trevor Lawrence, which I don't agree with. I think Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback in this draft class. I don't know if he's going to be the best quarterback to succeed in the NFL, but we're going to have to see. But I think Trey Lance is probably the second or third best, probably the third best quarterback in this draft. And I don't think people give him credit for it. I think he's really dynamic, and people just they don't, I think he's dynamic.
I think this was definitely a big smoke show by the 49ers for Mac Jones, just to see what they could get for their pick. But I like that they rolled the dice on Trey Lance. I love it.
Yeah,
It
I will
puts Jimmy
say
on the hot seat, they needed
Well,
to
not
do.
only that, it's like they showed so much interest in the 49ers, and for them to just completely abort and go Trey Lance. I mean, I love Trey Lance, so I'm glad he's getting a good opportunity, but I definitely think it was a solid pick. And I'm not sure if I think it was a better pick than Mac Jones would have been, to be completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
Moving
All
on,
right, moving on.
Kyle Pitts.
Falcons.
Well, dude, okay, this is just my personal opinion, but I think that Kyle Pitts is one of the best tight end prospects in a long time.
Oh yeah, I think Kyle Pitts is probably one of the top 3 overall prospects in this draft.
Kyle
It's
Pitts to
him.
me is the second best player in this draft, and I don't even think it's relatively close. It's him and Trevor Lawrence, and I think there's a bit of a drop off. Not that I think the other players are bad prospects, but I think those, when we look back, I think those are going to be the 2 standouts.
Yeah,
Mhm.
100%.
I mean, I think Kyle Pitts, he just has it all. He's fast, he's
Kyle
big, he's
Pitts
strong.
Is like Calvin Johnson at tight end.
At tight end, yeah, he's huge. You know, he can get the job done.
He runs like a receiver, but like if Gronk was fast, I mean Gronk is fast, but like receiver speed fast, like that's Kyle Pitts.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, I agree. Good overall pick. Moving on, Jamar Chase went to the Bengals. He was a wide receiver from LSU, and so a lot of people wanted an offensive lineman to protect Joe Burrow. And while I think that is a very solid idea, Joe Burrow specifically wants a target. And I think Jamar Chase was the most perfect option for him because he went to LSU. He's the same. They have chemistry together. And so I really think that people doubt this pick because it's not an offensive lineman, but I think that with Joe Burrow finally having a target, I think it'll work.
Mhm.
Like I think it's a very, very good pick.
And I think it's easier for me, especially with the Bengals, to rate first-round picks after we see the second round, because the Bengals took that really good tackle from Clemson, so they got a good O-lineman there. And I think Jamar Chase, if it wasn't Jamar Chase, I think they probably would have gone offensive lineman. But just because it's Joe Burrow's receiver from college, I think is why they took him here.
Yeah, Carter, thoughts?
I think that Jamar Chase, I don't think he's the best receiver in the draft. I think he's top 3. I don't think he's the best, but I do think if the Bengals were going to draft a receiver, he is the best option. So I also agree that they should have gone O-line, but I think they got the best bang for their buck because he does have that connection with Burrow. So
100%.
overall good pick. But the next pick is
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle, wide receiver from Alabama to the Dolphins. Kind of same thing. We've seen a lot of like quarterbacks and receivers going to the same school this draft, and this is the same because Tua in Miami and then Jalen Waddle in Miami. So I think Jalen Waddle is honestly he's can rival Tyreek Hill in speed. He's so fast. He's
so
kind of hurt
good,
this season.
Yeah.
But he's just so fast and he's big. He's bigger than Devontae Smith. But that's really not hard to do. But like I just think he's probably one of the most athletic people in this draft behind Elijah Moore. I think he's so athletic. I think he's just so good. He doesn't drop the ball either, which is great.
Yeah.
To me, I think this was
a
a bit of a dicey pick just because of the injury he had in college. I think it was the Tennessee game, if I'm correct on that.
That hurt Jalen Waddle.
But I think this to me is very similar with the Jets, where the Dolphins are saying Tua's our guy. We're going to give him everything we can, and if he doesn't succeed, then that's on him.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I like that Tua and him are back together. So they have that chemistry and they can learn together, just like Joe and Jamar. But moving on to pick number 7, Penny Sewell to the Lions. He's an offensive lineman. We all have very mixed feelings about this pick. And
Especially you and me.
I think that, Carter and I have the exact same opinions, and it's that the Lions didn't need an offensive lineman.
Not that they didn't need it. They just needed more.
No, they needed other positions more.
Exactly. They needed other positions more.
It's the same argument that Emerson had with Jamar Chase. They could have taken a really good receiver, a target for Jared Goff, or even a defensive player. gotten them a really, really star player. While yes, Penny Sewell is the best tackle in the draft, you could still get good offensive linemen from the other round. That shouldn't be your priority. It's getting the best possible prospect available. I don't think to best fit your team. I don't think that the offensive line pick was the best move. I really don't. It's not a horrible pick. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying I think there could have been a better option. Like Devontae Smith, personally.
All right. My turn.
Yes, your turn.
So
to hear us go to war with
I think you have a bit of a point to where they said they have other needs. But to me, they have to have somebody there to protect Jared Goff. And I get they have Frank Ragnow, I think's how you pronounce his name, the center who's pretty good. But they needed somebody to protect Jared Goff's blind side so he doesn't look like Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl every game. And I think the reason I think Penei Sewell was the best pick here is because I think there's better receiver depth in the draft later on than there is offensive line.
Yeah, but they didn't. The offensive line was not their biggest need.
It was.
They lost Kenny Golladay. They lost their number one receiver. Like who else? Can you name another receiver on the Lions?
They just drafted that guy from USC.
I mean, like a current receiver.
They got him in like the 4th round.
No, the correct answer is no. He cannot name one, and so that's the
They
point.
needed star power, bro. Like they need someone who's a big name who has proven themselves and a first-round talent. Penei Sewell is an incredible talent and probably one of the best offensive linemen to come out in the draft in probably a while. I mean, he went very high in the draft, number 7 overall. It's not a bad pick. It's just not the best pick. They could have picked someone they needed more, like a Devontae Smith or a whatever Elijah Moore. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
If they wanted Elijah Moore though, they could have waited. Like I think it was smart for the Lions to stick here. I don't think they should have traded back or traded up at all.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they had a good pick, but like that, like they didn't need to trade up because they had Devontae Smith on the board and they chose Penei Sewell, and then the Eagles took him at 10. So it's not really like, I don't know. It's not like they were gonna trade up or trade down. They didn't need to because they had him on the board, but they went with Sewell.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand it. It's a good pick. It's not the best pick.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so going to pick number 8, and the final person will be analyzing for us is J.C. Horn. He's a corner to South Carolina. Personally, bro, this guy is so good, and I think, yes, they could have an offensive weapon, but I really have nothing to say about this pick. I think it was just solid overall. And, you know, it wasn't the best out there, but I definitely think that the Panthers knew what they were doing when they chose him.
I think it's probably the best pick they could have made, personally. I think Patrick Surtain is a little bit better, I won't lie. But J.C. Horn is they're kind of identical in their like ranking of corner. They literally went back to back. So, they're interchangeable really. But
to me, I think it probably just came down to more scheme fit for them than who's better because like you said, I think they're right there neck and neck. But they probably just thought J.C. Horn fit their defense a bit better than Patrick Surtain. But
I think they didn't really need offense. I think their offense is stacked. They have DJ Moore. I know they got someone else. They have Christian McCaffrey back and Sam Darnold, which I think is honestly a good quarterback. I think Sam Darnold gets a bad rap because he was stuck with Adam Gase. But I think good pick. All right, so thank you so much for Emerson for coming on to do picks 1 through 8. But we're moving on to a good friend of mine, Cole Underwood. He is he's a dude, lives on Cedar Mountain. He runs. That's really all. He's a Broncos fan. And let's just jump into it. So pick number 9. The Broncos, Cole's team, they took Patrick Surtain. I know.
All right. Let's just start off, and this is going to be the rant one. This is the rant one. I just want to start off and say how idiotic of a pick. All right. Before this pick, we had 3 good corners and then 1 decent one. And then one's like, And then they decide to pick another corner. Now we have 5 good corners. Like, who the needs 5 corners? There's not enough room on the field for 5 corners. All right? Yeah. All right, Justin Fields fell down and picked
Oh, God, not Justin Fields. No, he's like the announcers, Andrew.
Justin Fields fell down to number 9. And, of course, the Broncos needed QB because, I don't know, both Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock You've seen them. No more explanation beyond that. And then even Micah Parsons would have been the other good one for that pick as well. Because Micah Parsons, we need an inside linebacker. It would fit perfectly with Vic Van Gogh's defense. But no, let's just draft another damn corner. And, I mean, so looking back, I mean, I guess it wasn't an awful pick just because they have 2 corners that are on their last year or have a 1-year contract because Kyle Fuller signed and has a 1-year contract. So looking back, I guess they're looking towards the future. Still an awful pick in my opinion, but yeah.
Well, you see, I kind of like it. I like it to where he's I like it to where he's really good. I think he's like we said earlier, I think he's interchangeable with JC Horn or whatever his name is. I think that's his name. Yeah, JC Horn. But I mean, I think I agree with Cole. They didn't really need it. But I think like Penei Sewell, it's not bad. It's just not the best.
What the term is, it's the exact same as the Penei Sewell pick. It's that it wasn't a need, but it wasn't a horrible pickup.
Yeah, it was good.
No, it was pretty bad.
It's like, no, that sucked.
No, okay. So even if you traded down with like the Cowboys or a few picks down and then grabbed Micah Parsons, still got an extra pick, like that would have been the most ideal scenario if you're not going to draft Justin Fields or someone we actually need. But no, we now have 5 corners and no quarterback. So,
no, dude, you got Drew Lock.
Yeah, man. I mean,
no quarterback.
Yeah, bro, you got Drew Lock. He's great.
The worst part was I was watching it, right? And it told, it says your offensive rank for the year and defensive rank. And it said the defensive rank was tied for 20th, which in my opinion, the stats says it's 20th. In my opinion, they were not 20th. They were only 20th because, again, Drew Lock would just chuck a random pass somewhere and it get intercepted in our own 50. And then, of course, they would either score a field goal or a touchdown. And then our defense looks like it's trash. When in reality, it's not. It's all the offense's fault. But, let's just keep working on that defense. All right, I'm just going to move on. Otherwise, I'm going to keep ranting on this stuff.
Good idea. So, next pick is number 10. The Eagles traded up with, I forget who, but they traded up to get Devontae Smith.
Cowboys.
The Cowboys. Thank you. They traded up to get Devontae Smith from Alabama. I like the pick. Devontae Smith, arguably the best receiver in the draft. I personally don't think he is.
I don't think so either.
He is a little bit undersized, but me and Andrew talked earlier. If he gets like blindsided by TJ Watt, it's over for this man's whole career. He's only like 160 pounds. Like,
yeah,
he's very talented, but
yeah,
I don't think
So-
he's gonna be that.
So I'm going to go on a little tangent here on these next 3 picks because originally it was the Cowboys, Giants, Eagles in that order, or the Cowboys having the 10th pick rather than the 12th. It ended up being Eagles, Bears, Cowboys. I really enjoy like this whole trade flip-flop between these rivals of Cowboys and Eagles. Because the Eagles desperately wanted Devontae Smith, a wide receiver, with the departure of Elshon Jeffrey and I forgot the other one, but
Deshaun Jackson or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Deshaun Jackson. That's it. I forgot he existed, but yeah, and I really enjoy this pick because they got that receiver, and the Giants were most likely going to pick up Devontae Smith before the Eagles were supposed to in this scenario.
Yeah.
Because the Cowboys don't need a receiver. The Cowboys weren't going to pick Devontae Smith. They've already got their fantastic young man of CeeDee Lamb, and then you've got 2 other great ones, Gallup and Amari Cooper. Those are 3 good ones, and you don't need to draft Devontae Smith. It'd be just a waste of a pick if you were to do that. So they were going to draft Micah Parsons. That's who the Cowboys wanted, but trading down was definitely the great option here for both clubs, even though they're rivals. But jumping up with the Eagles to grab Devontae Smith fits their scheme well, and
it gives Jalen Hurts a target too.
Yeah,
exactly.
Besides Jalen freaking dropped the ball Rager. Man, I drafted that dude in fantasy in like the 5th round. Stupid.
Yeah.
I had a bad fantasy season. Cole knows. Anyway,
it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was disappointing. I went like 8-8. Like one week I scored like 150 points, and the next I scored like 60. And my team was literally bipolar. Anyways, yeah, I started off good. But number 11, this one.
The
Justin,
So this one,
potential-
I really love this. I absolutely love this.
See, I'm in the direct opposite opinion because I wanted Justin Fields,
Dude,
and it almost happened.
Carter's
It
gonna
almost
go on a major
happened.
rant here, bro. This
But we
is
got
so-
Mac Jones! Ah!
Hey, we'll talk about that in about a few minutes here.
Mac Jones! No!
No, you
Shut
don't
up and let me
understand.
speak.
Carter and I. No, Carter and I were on call during this happening because originally this was supposed to be New York's pick, and so New York traded last second because Carter really wanted Justin Fields to go to the Pats. And
It
so
almost
there-
happened.
nobody
It
else-
almost happened.
Nobody else until the Pats pick were going to take a quarterback. The only teams he feared were the New York Giants, which most likely wasn't going to happen, and then the Bears right here.
The Vikings. No, and the Vikings, because the
Vikings.
Bears were behind us.
Mhm.
The Bears were behind
But
us.
then, last second, with like 2 minutes remaining on the clock on the pick time, a trade happened. The Bears came in, switched with New York, and then took Justin Fields in like a matter of a second. And then Carter was, he was not.
Bro, when I saw the trade, I was like, yes, New England traded. Yes. And then it was like the Bears, and I was like, no! Because I knew it was over. I knew it was over. But in all seriousness, Justin Fields is the second best quarterback in the draft. I don't know how he fell this far, but he did. You know?
And I feel like it's the best
so-
steal of the draft too. Like, bro,
Yeah.
such an Uno.
They
I-
gave him a lot, but it was worth it.
In this scenario, this was the best thing to happen for Chicago.
100%. Yeah.
With Andy Dalton, I'm sorry, the guy's just not that great. He can fill in, but he's more of a backup. But but this fell perfectly for Chicago, and they were, I'm sure, extremely happy with it.
Yeah.
Because the Giants no longer had a receiver really to pick that high. So going down and picking maybe a little less wide receiver, with more picks, while the Bears get Justin Fields was like the perfect trade here. And then obviously, like I said on this 3-1, the Cowboys got Micah Parsons, which fits perfectly with their scheme as well.
Yeah.
With having such a horrible defense.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
No,
Th-
100%.
those 3 picks were definitely fun to watch, and that made
The most
that so
exciting
much more
part of the
interesting.
draft, honestly.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it definitely hurt, but
Carter was in.
it's life, you know.
It gets worse
anyways.
too.
And then
Anyways,
the Chargers pick was just pretty standard. They needed a
you
left
just
tackle.
skipped the Cowboy.
No, I just talked about the Cowboys.
for like a split
No,
second.
you didn't. Okay, we'll do the Cowboys. Micah
I just
Parsons,
did the
linebacker, Penn
Cowboys.
State. Shut up, Micah Parsons, linebacker, Penn State. Good pick. He's very good.
Yeah, no, 100%.
They're still gonna go 8-8.
Thanks for your
Yeah.
input.
Yeah. All right, Chargers.
Now the Chargers.
Offensive tackle, Rashawn Slater, Northwestern. I don't really know who he is, but
This
Cool.
is a perfect pick right here for them. This is who they needed. The second
And it
best
protects
offensive
Justin
tackle.
Herbert.
Exactly. It's a great. Personally, it's a great pick for them. Sucks for the Broncos, but a great pick for them. They desperately needed a left tackle.
how does it suck for the Broncos?
They desperately needed a left tackle, and they got it with the second best tackle. In the
It
draft.
doesn't answer. Anyways,
What do you want? What do you want? Huh?
nothing. Number 14, Elijah Vertucker, or should I say, Mac
Just wait
Jones.
till we get to pick 15, Carter. Just wait. All right.
I don't want to go to pick 15.
Yeah, Carter doesn't
All right.
like
I'll
it.
go to pick 15.
All right.
Okay.
Okay,
This
okay.
one pick 14 was a lot of fun for me because we just watched the Eagles jump in front of the Giants in the previous couple picks, and now the Jets decided to trade up and jump in front of the Patriots, and I thought it was hilarious, and I couldn't wait to see what they did with it. Overall, they got another offensive lineman, I believe.
Yeah, when that trade happened, I also thought it was the Patriots. I remember telling Andrew, I said, if they trade up one spot for Mac Jones, I swear to God. Luckily, they didn't.
Yeah.
They still ended up drafting Mac Jones, but we'll get into that. But, yeah, good pick. Zach Wilson, he needed protection. I kind of thought they were going to go with another wide receiver, which they did end up doing later on. But, yeah, good pick. And I don't know, I think we said this earlier, but when we were watching it, we were watching on this like weird thing where like the commentators were awful, but it
Oh,
glitched and
gosh.
said they drafted Mac Jones, and I was like,
and we were
yes!
shocked.
Yes!
We were
And I was like,
shocked.
we were so confused because they had Zach Wilson and Mac Jones.
Yeah,
It glitched. They didn't actually draft Mac Jones. They switched up the picks.
yeah.
But
Moving-
number 15.
Yeah. Moving on.
All right. I got this, Carter. I got this. Don't even worry about it. I told Carter right after the Justin Fields pick that the New England Patriots.
Nah, bro, you told me way before that.
Yeah,
You said, "No, you
I
get a Mac
probably-
Jones." And I was like, "No, we'll get Fields. We'll trade up or something."
I told him I was like, you're getting Mac Jones. I mean, the Patriots are a pretty good team overall. A little inconsistent overall, but they did decently well, especially losing Tom Brady and a bunch of other.
Yeah,
Let's see.
considering we did all right.
Yeah, considering all that, you guys did all right. And what did they need most?
Not a quarterback.
And in my opinion,
A wide receiver. We have N'Keal Harry, bro.
I just want to
dude.
point out that receivers are useless without a quarterback. Unless you do.
I just want to point out quarterbacks are useless without a receiver. But then again, our current quarterback wasn't much of a quarterback. He's more of a running back. Anyways, let me just
He's
say,
more of an old Derrick Henry.
Mac Jones isn't a bad quarterback. I just think
No,
he's a bad quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, I know that's very conflicting. I don't know, bro. I feel like he's been coddled by Alabama and their 5-star offensive line, and they're amazing receivers. I don't know, bro. I have a bad. Usually, people say always listen to your gut, and I tend to do that. And my gut says it's gonna be awful. There's hope, but I don't know, man.
I don't think the Patriots made a smart move here. And I think that Bill Belichick expects Mac Jones to be the next Tom Brady. And while they have the similar body shape and similar 40-yard dash time, I really don't think that Mac Jones is going to be that good. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I don't know what people see in him. He went to Alabama, yes, but he was surrounded by good people.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yes.
Amazing. And
He was coddled.
Mac Jones is just not it, in my opinion. And Alabama fans will hate that. Every Bama fan thinks Mac Jones is a god. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think the Patriots made a wise decision here. But
I would have rather had Cal Trask. I'm gonna be real. I would have rather drafted Cal Trask later in the draft.
Yeah, that's
Like
interesting.
I think Mac Jones can be good. I don't know though, bro. There's just a feeling I have, and it's just gonna be bad. It's just Mac Jones, bro. I don't want Mac Jones.
Yeah.
He's Mac Jones. I wanted just the fucking Fields, but no. Why can't we just trade Gilmore, bro? He's getting old anyways. Trade Gilmore, get Mac Jones, give up pick 15. That's what the Bears did, and look who they got. Justin Fields. Look what we got. Mac Jones. Ah!
He's so mad.
Number 16, the Cardinals.
Watch.
With the Cardinals, Xavier Collins, linebacker Tulsa. I really like this pick because we shared the last name, so he's going to be cracked. All you need to know, he's going to be a god.
Yeah, okay. I think it was a solid pickup. I think that Arizona didn't need offense, potentially offensive lineman, but I don't think so. I think defense really needs to be worked on, so I think that it was a solid pick.
Yeah, it's a good pick. Better than Mac
Yeah.
Jones.
So I like the pick because the Cardinals have a good, not great, but a good offense, and then they had a decent defense this year. I had them in fantasy, and I watched the games because I wanted to know how they were doing, and they did decent. I wouldn't say they did great. Wouldn't say they did good, but they did decent. The addition of J.J. Watt over free agency was also a great pickup for him. Granted, he is getting old and isn't as great as he used to be, but he's still good. And this pick just really helps out their defense, and defense wins championships.
Yeah.
So there's not much you can say against that. I think the Arizona Cardinals are a white or just kind of in the run for maybe a NFC championship.
Playoff berth, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I say they're. I think they definitely picked the right guy. I think this is a very good pick.
Yeah, I don't think
I don't think they're top. I don't think they're top in the NFC. I think they're top 3.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, that's
Actually-
respectable.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. All right, that's it for Cole. Thank you so much for coming on, man, and sharing
Yeah,
your
thanks.
opinions with us.
shut
It
up.
was really
Carter.
great, bro. Just leave. Literally, just leave. You bailed. All right, I want all of you to know this man bailed with us last time. Like he bailed, and like, dude,
How'd your first round draft go?
how'd your first round draft go?
We have 5 corners.
We have Mac Jones, so suck it. Get out of here.
We at least have a good player. We at least
Oh,
drafted a good player.
no.
We may not use him, but we at least drafted a good player.
Bro, if y'all don't use him, I swear to God, he's goated. I don't know, but in all seriousness, thank you, man, for coming on.
Thanks, Cole.
And
Whatever.
yeah.
All right,
You
bye,
do.
Andrew. You have a great day. Carter, go crazy.
YouTube. All right, so our third guest on this episode is Mr. Sam Corson, aka the I'm Your Daddy guy from a couple episodes back, which was an absolute jewel of a moment. But we're happy to have him back, Sam. Welcome back on. He's going to be doing 17 through 24 with us. And we chose him on this because he is a Steelers fan like me. So obviously we had to have him cover the Steelers pick. But
I'm about
before
to get game.
we got to cross the others. So let's just hop straight into it. At pick number 17, Alex Leatherwood, an offensive lineman from Alabama, got drafted to the Las Vegas Raiders. So thoughts, Carter?
I mean, I personally think he should have gone in the second round. I don't think he's a first round talent,
Me neither.
but he felt the need, so
Yeah.
good job, I guess. I mean, yeah, they got an O lineman, they needed one, so yeah,
Well, they
good
needed
pick.
an offensive lineman because they traded all of theirs away, especially.
Yeah, they don't have an offensive line now.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, yes, it was a need, and I was watching ESPN, and they had this Raiders fan on. And he was going on a rant of how, it's not the best pick they could have gotten. And I think it was. I mean, I think it was personally because you got rid of literally their entire offensive line. So, it is what it is. Sam, thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was probably the biggest reach of the first round, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's a good player, but he's not first round caliber.
Yeah.
I mean, Christian Darrisaw, who went after him, is way better. There's guys who went in the second round who are way better. But it seems like that was the guy the Raiders wanted, and that's who they got. So
Yeah. I mean, with offensive linemen, it's tough to see into their future because, it's hard because they're not skill player positions. But, if Las Vegas went for him, seeing something in him, good for them. And it's like Carter said, they got the slot filled. So
Yeah. All right, moving on. The Dolphins, their second pick of the first round, they got Jaleen Phillips, edge rusher from Miami. Yeah, I think he's very good. We saw another Miami talent, or we will see another Miami talent go later on.
Mhm.
And I think if he can stay healthy, because he's kind of had some injury issues in the past, I think he's going to be really good. I think Miami had a really good defensive set go to the draft or whatever. They had some really strong picks go,
yeah,
which sucks for them because losing them. But I think the teams who picked them, I think they're going to be happy with their performance because I think these guys are legit,
they're really good.
especially this guy.
Mhm.
all right. Sorry. Yeah, I thought it was a really good pick. He fits their scheme. And it's a position of need. They filled it with a
Yep.
really, really good player.
Yeah.
No, and
Yeah,
especially
it's simple,
Yeah, well, not only that, it's like Miami had 2 really, really good edge rushers. You knew they were going to get drafted. Like they were.
Yeah.
It's crazy how they
Honestly,
both went in the first round.
Really good edge rushers.
Yeah. All right, so moving on to pick number 19, the Washington football team selected Jamin Davis, linebacker out of Kentucky. This guy, okay, I'm telling you, dude, this guy is so underrated. Along with another pick, the next pick that we're gonna cover, but this dude is so underrated. He's so good.
Yeah.
Question is, and I'll start with Sam's opinion here: was a linebacker what Washington needed?
You see, I don't know that much about the Washington football team. I know I think they have a good offense, so I don't think that was their need. I don't really know about their defense. I'm gonna be completely honest, but I mean, I'm sure they needed it. And if they didn't, I think they went with what they thought was the best available. And I think he's very talented. Like Andrew said, I think he's under the radar. I haven't really heard about him. I've heard about him a little bit, but I haven't really heard about him much. But I mean, hey, he's a beast, low key. So good pick, yeah. I mean, again, I don't know much about Washington's defense. I don't know their needs. Probably an edge rusher because every team needs an edge rusher. But yeah, good pick.
Yeah. Sam, what are your opinions?
Yeah, I am kind of a football team fan because,
Mhm.
I mean, that's kind of where I'm from. So it is one of the teams I root for, and I have been following them. And it's a kind of a perfect fit for them, to be honest.
Yeah.
They
Mhm.
did need a linebacker. Their defense is honestly probably one of the best. They definitely, I'd say, top 5 front 7 in the NFL.
Their
I mean, they
defense
got
is
Chase
really good.
Young.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
then
completely
that just
agree.
really solidified their front 7. They just really needed one more linebacker.
Mhm.
And they got him, and they got a really good player. He was kind of unknown, and then he rose on a bunch of people's draft boards at his pro day because he had a really good pro day.
Yeah.
And yeah, really good player.
Sweet, yeah. So the next pick is the Giants, and they got I don't know how to say his name.
Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney, wide receiver from Florida.
Okay.
Thoughts?
So I don't know if you guys have seen this clip, but this is the guy who caught like a bubble screen, and he turned upfield and he broke like 3 tackles with one spin move, and like continued to weave and dodge throughout the defenders to score. This guy is so underrated. This guy is so good. He's literally a human joystick. He's so good. But what people are having trouble about on this pick is that New York didn't need another receiver. New York needed defense. They needed to work on their defense if their offense was already so stacked. But personally, I love this player. I think with this addition, New York's offense just got a whole new dynamic, bro. They're going to be so good anyways this season. And I think that with this guy, especially if you put him at the slot receiver position, he's going to go nuts. He's going to go crazy. And so I think I personally loved the pick. I thought it was a great addition, but a lot of people don't like it because they feel like it wasn't the Giants' best need, which I could see. But, you know.
I think it's a good pick. I mean, it strengthens them even more. Personally, I think they may need a quarterback more than another wide receiver. I mean, they have Kenny Golladay, Sterling Shepard, multiple like good guys, but it's a good pick. It's a solid pick, I'd say.
Yeah.
Not too bold. It's a good pick. I think it's a talented player. Yeah, good pick.
100%. So, Sam, I do want your opinions on this because there are really 2 sides to this pick. So do you think it was a really good pick or a really bad pick?
I do think it was a really good pick. Yeah, they needed another guy from the slot, and he's a perfect fit for the slot. He's just a perfect slot player.
Yeah.
He can do anything. You can line him up at running back sometimes if you want to. You can put him all over the field. Yeah, really solid pick. Some people say they didn't need another wide receiver, but they kind of did need a wide receiver 3 or 4. So I like the pick, honestly.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, at pick number 21, Kwity Paye, a defensive end from Michigan, got drafted to the Colts.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, man. I really don't know about this pick. And here's the reason why. It's like I feel like that, it's questionable with the offense because, Carson Wentz is coming in now. And it's not that I feel like they should have taken a quarterback. It's just like it should have been in their mindset. And I think with a defensive end, like the Colts defense is really good. Yes, this is a great addition, but I don't know if it was the best possible pick they could have gotten.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I agree for sure. But I don't know about this guy. Like I don't know. Like I don't know, bro. I don't know anything about him. Kitty Payne. I'm sure he's good. I think from what I'm reading here, it says he has a lot of raw talent, but he didn't produce to that level. He said it will show better as he learns the tricks of trade better, but he feels a need, which I do agree he feels a need. But yeah, I think he feels a need, I guess.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't really know who he is. I did not follow this guy, but he feels a need. Samuel?
Yeah. This guy out of the edge rushers, I'd say he's probably the most talented guy there. Out of just raw talent, I really, really like this guy, honestly. And he's perfect fit for the defense. They needed another edge rusher. They got him, and with their coaching staff, they can develop him really well, and he can fit really well. And I can see him being like a perennial Pro Bowler, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can see
So
it.
yeah. I think he's gonna be a boomer or bust. Like the next pick, Caleb Farley, quarterback,
I have
Virginia.
some thoughts about this one.
I don't like this pick.
Me neither.
I
This pick
know
was
they
awful.
need secondary.
No, they don't. That's what they don't need. This is what the Titans don't need. The Titans did not need a corner.
Bro,
Yes,
they had one of the worst defensive ever. They had
pass
the worst.
rush. Pass rush is their problem, not secondary.
I still
Secondary-
think they need.
They
second-
cut their
they need
entire
secondary help.
secondary.
Yeah, they need secondary help.
Well, no, but partially why their secondary was so bad last year was due to injuries. It's their pass rush that's the major problem. You need to fill the pass rush, linebackers, whatever. They even released Davian Clowney, and so
Because he was trash.
I don't
Yeah,
think.
Jadavion Clowney's not good.
I just
Yeah,
this
one good year.
corner, like of all.
But I can see what you're saying, and I don't think that Caleb Farley was the guy, but I do think they did need a corner. I just think I think he's either gonna be really, really, really good or really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
No other way. Because he has major injury concerns. I don't know though, dude. I think they need a corner. They do need edge like D-line, linebacker, all like that, like Andrew said. Should they have taken one of them? Probably. But they took a corner instead, which they do need, and I think it's either going to be great or it's either going to be bad. They're going to love the pick or they're going to hate the pick, one way or another.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Carter. I think he's going to be boom or bust, but I really like the guy. I think it's actually a really good fit. And overall talent, when he's healthy, he's probably, in my opinion, he's probably the best corner in the draft when he is healthy.
That's bold.
Yeah.
There's some good corner. There's good secondary in this draft.
Facts.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, the Vikings have picked an offensive lineman, Christian Darrisaw, at pick number 23 out of Virginia Tech. 2 Virginia Tech people in a row, by the way. I don't have a lot. I don't have basically anything to say on this, to be honest. I'm saving all my energy for the next pick. I think that it was solid. I think the Vikings needed an offensive lineman to protect their quarterback. I think it was a solid pick. That's literally all I have to say. I don't think it was terrible. I don't think it was amazing. It was a good pick.
I mean, yeah, I feel like if I was a Vikings fan, I'd be disappointed by this pick because I would want someone like exciting. But I'm like kind of always disappointed by all linemen. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, bro, it's an O lineman. Like, they're very important. I feel like the offensive line is probably the most important position on the football field. But, bro, it's kind of boring in the first round. But he's a great player. I think he's a great player. I think he has a really high ceiling. So, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, that's all Sam's
Yeah.
got. So
Wait,
now,
Wait, well, hold on. What did Sam say?
all he said was yeah.
This
Here,
guy's a really good player. I like him a lot. This offensive line class was probably the deepest class I've seen in a long time.
dude, there's actually a lot
honestly,
of really good offensive linemen.
like this guy could be a top 3 offensive lineman in like any other draft class considered. This
I
guy's
think he
really
is a top
good.
3, probably.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Hold on,
I
Andrew.
have-
My favorite. Wait, what were you
Andrew.
going to say?
Sorry,
Why don't you
no,
let
never
me
mind.
introduce the Steelers pick since y'all are
Okay.
both Steelers fans?
Okay.
Okay. So, the most anticipated pick, arguably, of the night. Well, I don't know if it rivals Mac Jones. Okay. I don't know if it. Anyways, I don't know if it rivals Mac Jones necessarily. But the Steelers, they've picked Najee Harris, running back from Alabama.
Wow! This was
I think we
amazing.
know-
We've been saved. Woohoo!
Okay. I think we know Andrew's feelings on the picks. So let's move
Shut
to Sam.
My turn to talk. This was amazing, bro. And I was actually talking to Sam after this happened. This was literally our dream pick. This is exactly who we wanted, who we needed. Najee Harris is the perfect running back in this draft to fit our needs. We needed a running back. We also need offensive line, but we actually picked up 2 offensive linemen in the 2nd and 3rd round. That's very good. And then this is just perfect. It's so good. And he's one of the best picks that I have personally watched as a Steelers fan, probably since Shazier. You can make an argument for TJ Watt, but as significant as a player, I'm comparing him to Ryan Shazier being drafted. I think this is one of the best picks in the draft. That's my final opinion.
Yeah, they needed a running back and they filled the hole. So yeah, good pick. Yeah.
Now, Sam,
I mean, I'm not as excited about it as they are, but it's a good pick. It's a solid pick.
All right.
They feel the need, and they got a great player.
yeah.
It's the bottom line.
When I watched this guy play at Alabama, all I could think was Steeler. He fits the Steeler DNA. He is perfectly built to be a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Facts.
I love the pick. Perfect fit. People will be saying, nah, we need an offensive lineman. No, this offensive line class, like I've said, is insanely deep.
Yeah.
We got 2, in my opinion, outstanding offensive line picks.
Yeah.
In like either the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th rounds.
Yeah.
And I mean, this guy, Najee Harris, you saw what he did at Alabama.
He's incredible,
won a national
bro.
championship. I mean, he's, in my opinion, just as athletic as Saquon Barkley, and is probably better in receiving.
Yeah, he can catch passes for sure.
I agree with everything that Sam says. It is possibly the best pick that it is. No. It is the best pick we could have gotten in this draft as a whole period. That's all I'm gonna say because of time.
Yeah.
But I was over the moon excited, bro. It was it is a good time to be a Steeler at the current moment.
You know what? It's not a good time to be
a Patriots fan.
Well, actually, some Patriots fans really like Mac Jones, and some really hate him. It is like 50-50. You either love Mac Jones or you hate Mac Jones. I personally hate Mac Jones, but anyways, we're focused on the Steelers right now, so let's keep it like that.
But yeah, I think that this is the best pick we could have gotten.
Yeah, it's a great pick. He fits he fills a hole. James Conner, why he's a good back is I don't think he.
Well, he got traded. He's no longer with us.
He did? Who did he trade?
Yeah, he's on the Cardinals now.
Oh wow! Oh, I
picked him up.
Yeah, so they don't even have James Conner anymore, and he fills a need. He's a great talent, great player. Arguably the best running back in the draft. I think Travis Etienne was a little bit better, but you know, good pick. Good pick.
That's debatable, but you know what? It's a respectable opinion.
I just think Etienne's a little bit well-rounded. Like he's more well-rounded. He's more
Etienne!
I will call him Etienne until the day I die. I know it's Etienne, and I do not care.
Oh my god.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Sam, for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure, and this is Sam's last pick. So, Sam, we will talk to you later. But yeah, man, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great.
Yes,
of course. All
See ya.
right. See ya.
All right, so our fourth and final guest has arrived. Welcome, everybody. Welcome Jack Gibby back to the podcast.
Welcome.
He was here in our OG days. He did the what was it? Reacting to NFL playoff prediction. Yeah, one of our bigger videos with him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's joined us again this time for reacting to the NFL draft. So let's just hop into it. Pick number 25. The Jaguars took Travis Etienne, running back from Clemson.
Oh, please. It's pronounced Etienne, bro.
I don't care. I've pronounced it Etienne like the entire time.
It's freaking like guillotine or something like that. Like Travis Guillotine. Bro, but because this had happened right after the Steelers pick, right? And so we had obviously picked Najee Harris, so I was super excited. And I was talking with this Clemson fan that I know. He was the first guest on this episode, as you may or may not know. And it was just so surprising because the Jags have James Robinson.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Travis Etienne. The only logical reason you would take Travis Etienne is because he was on the same team as Trevor Lawrence, who was picked up by the Jags. So my initial thoughts are, what? It wasn't the smartest. He's a really good player, but like they don't need him.
I think he's the best running back in this draft class, in my opinion. I think he's the most well-rounded, I should say. I know Najee Harris is really good, but I think
No, I think Najee's way better too. Travis Etienne is way better. I just think Najee was picked by the Steelers because he better fits their scheme, like we said.
yeah, and because Etienne wasn't there. But I think I don't know what they're gonna do about James Robinson because he was like second in rushing yards this season or something like that. So I don't understand exactly why they took Travis. But Etienne.
Etienne, not
Travis
Etienne.
Etienne.
It's French, but it doesn't really make any sense, honestly. Like, James Robinson's really good. So you look at how bad the Jags were last year. Like, it's not because their running back position, like, this is their second pick, and they chose to not go with a player like an O lineman or something that could actually help them,
or like a position that they needed.
Yeah,
exactly. They do not need a running back, like a good running back, and he's a good running back, but they just didn't need him. But in their defense, he is kind of a different style than James Robinson. Like, Robinson gets like the hard yards, he's going to be in there a lot more, but Etienne's kind of explosive and really fast, and he's a lot better in the passing game. So they're going to have a really good duo of running backs now, like Cleveland. They've got a good duo that kind of has things that complement each other, like traits that are really good. So it'll be interesting, but I don't know how like their defense and their O-line is going to be now that they've got like really good running backs and quarterback. We'll see how they do this year. It's gonna be interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah, for real.
I think Jack has a really good point that they have the potential to use these two running backs as the exact same dual threat system that the Browns have. Travis Etienne's definitely the receiving back out of the two, and Jack was completely right. He's more explosive. But yes, James Robinson is more experienced with this team. I think he can teach Etienne. I think, by no means do I think Etienne is a bad pick. I just think it's a questionable pickup from a team that didn't really need a running back position.
Yeah, it's definitely risky. But another thing to think about is like maybe it makes Trevor Lawrence feel more comfortable, to have his old teammate with him, and he's not just like by himself there.
That's why I think they did it.
Something to think about.
Yeah. I agree because the chemistry is there.
Okay, moving on to Browns. They took Greg Newsome II, a corner out of Northwestern. I kind of like this pick because the Browns, I know they have the one dude who's pretty good in the secondary, but that's really all they have. And so I think to get a first-round corner I think it's a good pick for them. I like it.
I think that I definitely agree. They definitely needed to go defense because their offense does not need help at all.
Not really, no.
I think defense was definitely the move for the first round. Greg Newsome is he's really, really good. He's very underrated as well. And I think that, put in this Browns secondary, I think that he could really make this defense a whole lot better.
Yeah, I like the pick. I don't know. I just have a feeling getting corners in the first round. Like, I'm a Packers fan, and I remember it was either last year or a couple years ago, they got like Jaire Alexander in the first round. He's really good now. He's a great corner. They got another guy too, and they're two starters. I just feel like corners do well right out of the draft. Other positions are kind of more risky, like especially quarterback, but corners in the first round are a good idea. And you're right, Andrew, they didn't really need anything on their offense. They've got Kareem Hunt and Chubb, and they've got a great quarterback and great wide receivers like Peoples-Jones and that kind of thing. So I think this was a good pick overall. It's really what they needed. So yeah, it was a good idea.
Yeah. Good overall pick. It's a strength that they
100%,
definitely buffed up their secondary. But now moving on again, the Ravens. They finally got a receiver. They finally got help from Lamar Jackson. Rashard Bateman, the wide receiver from Minnesota. Now I know they got a receiver, but I don't think it's enough because they really should have gotten someone like Corey Davis big in the free agency. Because a rookie wide receiver, while he may have an insane season like Jerry Jeudy did, or CeeDee Lamb, really good standout receiver. I don't know. I like the pick, but I feel like they need more than just one receiver.
I think, it kind of depends on your perspective because Baltimore, while you have Lamar Jackson, you cannot solely focus on Lamar Jackson. And so I think getting him a good weapon, this receiver is a stud. He is so good. You actually get him a weapon. he can actually succeed. And I think that he can teach the receiver under his wing and not picking up a receiver from the free agency where they're used to different schemes. I think that Lamar could teach him under their team's and offensive schemes play style. So I think that's a positive, but I definitely agree with you on the negative is that, Corey Davis is a big name receiver. And yes, he went to the Jets, and the Jets are literally so stacked right now. But I definitely think that it wasn't a horrible pick. Like if I had to give it a grade, it'd be a solid like 6 or 7 out of 10. In my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. I think they maybe could have done a little better, but you're right. It's like it's not terrible. They needed more options for Lamar Jackson, They needed more like powerful, like fast wide receivers to give him because they obviously struggled with that this year so much, like Marquise Brown, I think he's their top receiver right now, and he's good, but they needed more options than that,
Yeah, he's not a number one.
Facts,
Yeah, he's not up there with anybody like Devontae Adams or anything. They at least needed if they're not going to get a superstar like Devontae Adams that can go up and catch anything, they need more fast guys back there to just be options,
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on. The Saints, one of Andrew's favorite teams, they got Peyton Turner, an edge rusher out of Houston. I think this is a good pick. I don't think it's the best pick though. I do not think he's the best edge rusher that they could have gotten. I think there are better options out there.
I don't even think that he was the best. It's not that he wasn't the best. I just think that honestly, you have Cameron Jordan, and the real question is raised is like, what do the Saints need? I really thought the Saints were going to go for Elijah Moore, and
they're going to go for a tight end
to help back up. What's his face? Michael Thomas.
Oh, never mind. My bad. I was like Kamara.
I really think that they were going to go with another receiver. Like Elijah Moore was in my mock draft for the Saints. And so I was surprised with the defensive pick, but it's being surprised and it being a bad pick are two different things. I don't think it was a pick by any stretch. It was just surprising to me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had a pretty good like defensive line and like edge rushers last year. Like I don't think defense was really. I don't know. See, the Saints were a really good all around team the whole season. They had some struggles obviously, but they had strong players. So I'm honestly not sure what exactly they needed. Maybe an edge rusher is something that can really bring it together, and then it brings the question up if he was the best option. Because if you look at the next few picks, like 3 of the next 4 picks after this were edge rushers. So, but they do so much research on this stuff. Like they obviously had a reason that they picked him and over like the other edge rushers that came next. And I'm not sure what that is, but it's going to be interesting to like compare in this draft, like if they could have gotten a better one.
Yeah.
So
yeah. All right. The next team is Jack's team, the Packers, and they went with Eric Stokes, a cornerback out of Georgia.
Woo-hoo!
So, yeah, Andrew's a Georgia fan. So what do you think about this?
Dude, okay, I'm just going to say Eric Stokes is amazing. He's so good. I will say, though, I don't know how Jack or any Packers fans feel about this, but the Packers need offense, and especially with this drama that Aaron Rodgers does not want to return. And you have Jordan Love at backup. I don't think this was the best pick as a player for Green Bay, while Eric Stokes is an amazing player and he's going to be a standout rookie. And along with Jair Alexander in the secondary, it's going to be deadly because, Green Bay's defense is not the best, right?
No.
Green Bay, you think of their offense. And so I think combined with their offense, it'd be good. But I am interested to see if this was the strongest pick for, obviously, because, Aaron Rodgers is most likely going to leave or retire. So.
For sure.
Jack,
Yeah.
what
So I really think okay, this was basically at that point in the draft, it was probably the best pick that they could make. But I'm still left thinking could they have gotten a wide receiver?
Yes.
There's not really many good wide receivers left in the draft.
Elijah Moore.
Because I guess
Yeah,
Elijah,
exactly.
and
Bro,
they had some options, but nobody outstanding, So I don't know whether they're just resigned to losing Aaron Rodgers at this point. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're he's leaving no matter what. Because there were news stories that he's like he's 100% committed to leaving. He's told them he wants to leave, so they're obviously not making a play to like really get him to stay because they're not getting a really good wide receiver. So it's
Yeah,
gonna
they're
be.
not making him happy.
Yeah, I don't know what's. I honestly don't know. It was a good pick. It was a good pick, but you never know what's going on the inside. So I'm not sure whether or not they'll have. I will say this: if Aaron Rodgers is not like their quarterback next year, as it's looking, I doubt they go to the playoffs. Like Jordan Love is not a playoff caliber quarterback. I don't know. I'm just disappointed because I love the Packers. I love Green Bay, and I love Aaron Rodgers, and together it's just amazing. But I would just wish they could have, made him happy.
You know what? You know what I find funny is that Aaron Rodgers announced that he did not want to return before the draft started. It wasn't long before
he knew they were gonna make a bad pick.
No, not even that. And then they still picked a corner. Like, if you want to keep your guy, don't like. They said they're committed to
somebody that you need
today. Like, don't pick a freaking corner. Pick a receiver, someone that will make him happy.
It was a good pick overall. I mean, it's what's going to help their team the most. They didn't necessarily need a wide receiver. They have good wide receivers, especially like you see Valdez-Scantling. He's young, and you can tell he's young when he plays. But
yeah, and Lazard
and gets older, and Lazard. Yeah, those two are two young guys that they've gotten recently, and they're just getting better. And so I'm not sure. Because those are good wide receivers, and obviously Devontae Adams is amazing. So I'm not 100% sure what Aaron Rodgers wants, but
100%.
It's the best pick for their team. It's at that point in the draft. I think a corner is what they need. And I told you earlier, like they got Jaire Alexander. He was a corner. Now he's one of the best corners in the league. And this guy that they just got, he runs like a 4.29 40-yard dash, which is really good. He's got great ball skills, and like he's a good player. He's, like I said, he's probably the best option they had left in the draft. So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see how it turns out, but definitely interesting.
All right, yeah. Next up is the Bills. They went with Gregory Rousseau, edge rusher out of Miami. I really like this pick. Gregory Rousseau is huge.
He's so good.
He's so talented.
Number 15 for Miami. He's insane. He's the cracked one.
Yeah. And Miami had like two really good defensive players, him and a running back who I think got picked earlier. But he's so talented. He didn't play last year, this year I mean, because of COVID, which I think hurt his stock as a draftee. But I think he's going to be really good.
Yeah, I don't even have a lot to say on this pick because the Bills need defense. It's a fact, and this was probably the most perfect pick they could have gotten at this point in the draft so late. Yeah, my really only thoughts are what a good pick, and I really want to see him do well. And dude, imagine he keeps the jersey number 15 too, bro.
I'm so happy they changed that rule. I think it's gonna be sick.
Yeah.
I think it's a good pick too. Yeah, they definitely. So when you say they needed defense, it's kind of true, but it's more like they just didn't need offense. Their offense was so explosive this year. So a defensive player was definitely what they had to pick, and this guy is huge. I looked him up. He's like 6'7", 265 pounds. So it's gonna be interesting, and he did really well in Miami. So we'll see how it turns out. It's definitely a great pick by them.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to pick number 31, the Baltimore Ravens again picked Jason Away. I don't know how you pronounce this dude's last name. Away. And he is a deep edge rusher as well from Penn State. So thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think he's as good as Rousseau. I think he definitely feels a need. They lost Matthew Judon to the Patriots. Let's go. So I think it's a good pick. I think it's a solid pick. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's a good pick by them. So many edge rushers, honestly, like at the end of that draft there. Yeah, it was good. I don't really have much to say. He was a great player in college, so we'll see how he does at the Ravens.
Yep. All right. And for the last pick of this video at pick number 32.
I wonder what his position was.
What?
I wonder what this guy's position is.
Yeah, man.
What's funny? So we did a video recapping free agency and what every team needs. Guess what every team needed the most?
An edge
rushers. Guess what position got taken the most? An edge rusher. So We see a
But-
correlation, but yeah, that kind of gives it away. The
Yeah,
Bucks
kinda.
took an edge rusher. Hold on, let me close my window.
It's a
My neighbor-
linebacker, but he is an edge rushing linebacker. But Joe Tyron from Washington, he's inspirational. He's so good. I think that, Tampa Bay doesn't even need to improve. So I think that, you take this pick and it's more of somebody to mentor for the future. And so I really think that it was a solid pick by them. So, I don't have much to say on Tampa Bay, but yeah.
I don't think he's a mentor. I think he's going to be an instant starter. Not gonna lie. I think he's going to be an instant starter.
Interesting.
Maybe. He'll definitely train under. They've got their defensive line. They were crazy. I hated that because when they played the Packers and stuff, and throughout the whole season, the Bucs defensive line was amazing. So he'll I don't know if he will be an instant starter, but he'll definitely train under those guys who are there now, like Ndamukong Suh, and their other great defensive linemen and ends. So, and by the way, I hate Ndamukong Suh. That guy just annoys me so much. I was watching a game when he was at the Lions and they were playing against the Packers and it was like a close game. And I don't know if you guys knew about this.
Oh yeah,
Aaron
he
Rodgers'
kicked the
finger.
dude. Yeah. I know what you're talking
Yeah,
And I've seen him do stuff like that all the time. I just do not like Ndamukong Suh. I'm just,
Yeah.
kind of dirty, but I think he's gotten better.
about.
I don't know. I just don't like that guy.
That's some Packers hate coming out in Jack. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this very long but interesting episode. Thanks so again to all of our guests, including Jack here, for